Let me just quit.
That's okay, we're recording now. It's okay, he can cut it out. All right, family, welcome back to another episode of Well Said with Kim and Vic, brought to you by Seeking Educational Excellence. I tell you, I gotta get this together. Seeking Educational Excellence. Shout out to KJ. Amen, amen, amen. Well, as we talked about previously, we're doing a 5-part series on racism. 5-part. This is part 2. So we're going to be talking about the social media perspective and what we see across social media when it comes to racism. And like we were saying before, racism is such a huge part of the fabric of this country, of the United States of America. And I just believe it's something that we'll be probably talking about for a long time.
Generations to come, even after we're gone.
Yes, even after we're gone, because
we don't correct it. We can correct it, I think.
Because as we identified in our first part series, that it's really a matter of classism, not racism. It's that the elite class, the political class, the rich, the top 1% have an interest in keeping us divided in the lower classes, in the middle class, the poor folks. If they can keep us fighting based on immutable characteristics that in a large part are social construct, then they can keep their power. Yeah. So today we will definitely be getting into the social media perspective, and I'm sure a lot of people, while you're on social media, you see it.
Yes.
It's so prevalent in our society, and particularly, especially in American society.
Yes.
I don't know if it's like that in other countries.
It's not as well, I guess, overly used. Okay, as it is here. I just think that once again our government system is basically once again the have and the have-nots, and everything belongs to the crown.
Say that again. You could definitely say that again.
Everything belongs to the crown. So when you have it belonging to one entity, there's no reason for you to say, my home is better than your home. I live here and you live there. Mm-hmm. Everything belongs to the crown. So therefore, what's the sense? Why would I fight you over something that's not yours?
Right. The crown being in the instance of the United States, the government.
Yes.
The state, the government, the ones who run the government, the ones who have a vested interest in the government having all the power.
And keeping us divided.
Exactly. Yeah. So what we did, or what we've been talking about as far as racism is concerned, is we scanned over social media, and we were looking for some instances. And then the funny thing is that there's a psychology to racism that we're going to be talking about as well. But Victoria, or Vic, as I call her so lovingly, actually came across a very interesting definition that we think ties all into this classism, racism, and we about to bring you some information straight to the head. Okay,
there you go. Hit
it, Vic.
Okay, there was a psychology experiment done, and they learned that if you, meaning you as the citizen, a human citizen, well, came in the 60s, and this was done by, let me just start again. This was done in the 60s, and it was done by basically the KGB. And the KGB did a fascinating experiment, and it went as follows. They learned that if you bombard a human subject with fear messaging nonstop, in 2 months or less, most of the subjects are completely brainwashed to believe the false message, to the point that no amount of clear information they are shown to the contrary of what's being falsely pushed can change their minds. So when I saw that and I read that, and I says, wow, if we look at the situation just off topic, mask, you see how people were going apoplectic if you didn't have on a mask, because we were getting so many mixed information from the WHO, the CDC, Fauci,
Governors,
they were just governors,
mayors.
Gestapo governors. I'm sorry, I had to get that one in, guys. Oh, I love calling them. And then we had the mini Gestapos
I
on
love
Facebook.
it, the Gestapo and
I'm
the
sorry.
KGB.
And
We have
wait a minute.
that.
And then you had Michigan telling their residents to report their neighbors.
Oh, Queen Whitmer.
If they saw anybody without wearing a mask, or even socially congregating in a large group. So we just found a clip and we thought it was very interesting. And Kim's going to hit it right now.
That's applicable. So y'all check this out.
Yeah, he's condemned white supremacy over 20 times.
Oh yes, when? Could you tell me when?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to see a video of montage of 20 times that he's done it?
Oh, actually no. I'm more interested in walking up in.
But how are we going to learn if we don't challenge our ideas? I mean, you just made a statement that is actually inaccurate, and I can show you video evidence of why it is. I mean, would you like to see that?
No, thank you.
Have you listened
Prove
to
me
2
wrong.
seconds of anything he says?
Yes, he's condemned white supremacy and the KKK over 20 times.
Over 20 times?
Yeah.
Do you have him right here? Can I listen to it?
Absolutely, you can. Let me pull it up for you right now.
All right.
By the way, I'm James. How's your day going, man?
It'd be a lot better if you guys were wearing masks.
We can socially distance.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Wait. You don't want to see the examples? I have 20 examples right here.
He is a white supremacist.
What is your basis for saying that? I have 20 examples right here. Come watch.
You speak a lot. You can't keep covering that.
I have a video of him denouncing it 20 times. You guys want to watch the video?
Don't matter.
We've got David Duke just joined. A bigot, a racist, a problem.
Would you repudiate David Duke?
Sure.
David Duke and robocalls are out again, the white supremacist movement supporting you. Do you have any words for that?
Well, I disavow. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay?
When we looked at it and looked at the question, I disavowed David Duke. So I've disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter, and obviously it's never enough.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
When Chris joined, we had a news conference, and they asked me the exact same question. I said, I disavow. I disavowed then. I disavowed today on ABC with George Stephanopoulos. I disavowed again.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. Ultimately, he got to the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow. I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
Isn't that special?
So, you see, this is what I was telling you about the quote that I just read, guys, about what the KGB did concerning their propaganda of how to divide the people from other people, the other race or the same race but different religious beliefs. It was the Jews.
But isn't that? I'm sorry. Finish your point.
So this is what I'm saying. If it's true, because if you say it so many times, when you try to bring forth formidable information, factual, and that's historical, because the president is saying, I disavow white supremacy, I disavow this, I disavow that. And he's telling them, however, what people don't understand, in 1872, okay, that was the Democrat Party, which was taking out of being able to do anything within the government in 1872. But for some reason, they were able to get back in where that they're able to influence, not influence, but being able to,
Now, what happened? Wait a minute. This has something to do with 1872 and the Democrats. What happened?
Okay, in 1872, it was a clause voted that the KKK was no longer able to influence the government. Okay. So the KKK, which was formed in 1863
by the Democrat Party,
and was under the banner of the KKK, was under the banner of white supremacy. Why are we asking the president to denounce white supremacy when it was founded under the auspice of the Democrat Party.
And he's a Republican.
And he's still denouncing something that he did not even construct. See, this is all about verbiage, all about not knowing how the KKK was established and what their mission was from the very beginning of their establishment of their business. That was to bring terror, division, and fear to the American people.
Now, what I find interesting, especially from that particular clip, based on that definition that you read, right? This, I think, points directly back to the case that we're making about classism really is the new racism, so to speak.
Yes.
So it's very interesting that when presented with the opportunity to learn something different or to hear something different than what you're programmed to believe, that you run from it.
Yes, because it's like they put, I don't know if it's some kind of scare.
But here's the thing for me, Vic, though, that's scary. These people vote.
Yes.
This is cognitive dissonance at the highest level. It's willful ignorance. It's scary when having the opportunity to learn something that goes against your narrative, you run from it.
Yes.
Now, I'm not one to say I'm not biased. I have my leanings. I think me and Vic both do. But I'm always open to hearing the facts. See, I want to hear them to measure it up against what I believe.
Yes, most
I've
definitely.
had my mind changed about certain things, like even systemic racism. I used to believe that it wasn't systemic racism until somebody that I was debating with brought up the point that there's, with the criminal justice system, how there's mass incarceration, with abortion being pointed towards the black community, with welfare breaking up the black family. And I had to stop and rethink my position on that.
But you, just to interject with what you're just saying, you have to, who's
that's my point, is that yes, it exists, but you also have to go further and look at where it's coming from. And that points again back to the elite class, because you'll have black folks promoting those same things. You have black folks promoting abortion, black folks promoting welfare and stuff. So it has nothing to do with color. It absolutely is a class system. So I guess I'm making a point that yes, systemic racism, but it's really systemic classism.
Yeah.
So that's
so getting
very
the definition,
interesting. That
and just
definition.
making sure that you have the correct definition, and because as we see with this Marxism, it has been a big thing here in the United States with this Marxism, but it's all coming back to communism. It's all going back to China.
Right.
All of these Germany. Europe. This is all of what has been overseas, not here. It's coming here. It's been here, but it's really tipped. It's the champagne bottle popped because as we go forward.
Ooh, I love that analogy. I need some adult beverage on that.
Because Marx argues that throughout the society has transformed into the capitalist ruling class who owns the means of production. Like I said, that's the upper class that gives you a job. And then the working class who are exploited. He feels that working people are being exploited. But if you go back before Marx, didn't God say that it was good for a man to
work,
use his hands?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, he gave Adam a task from the very beginning, the foundation of the world. So that can be a good clue for you people that are Christian who are Democrats. The working of your hands. He told Adam to cultivate, meaning say it for me. Cultivate.
I'm sorry. You said it.
Because when I get excited, guys,
You're right. Her passion is taking over, right? Her heart and brain is going faster than her mouth.
I'm just saying, so if people saying, oh, this and that, no, if you're a Christian and you're black, or you're a Christian and you're a white person and you're a Democrat, you need to go back and you agree with welfare. If you agree with free money, okay, you better go back to the Bible in the beginning, Genesis 1, when he talks about all the things that God did, and then he broke it down in Genesis 22 2, where he telling Adam, now you cultivate this garden, name all the animals. He named all, so he was working. He wasn't just there in a lawn chair and Eve feeding him grapes. He was actually working. He was maintaining the work that the father the master had given him. So when people talk about this stuff, I just don't buy this non-working stuff. And if you don't like the Old Testament, you better move further on down, because it says if you don't work, you don't eat. Okay, so I think we cleared that up for the show.
And on that note, sis got to preaching. I love it. Using the word to convict you. And on that note, we're going to end here. And thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We'll be getting back to you with the next segment or the next in our Fire Pipe series of racism. So make sure you come back and check us out again later. Holla!